Adam Kaplan is our NFL insider, a double shot on Mondays. You can follow him on X at Kaplan NFL. Almost 30 years covering the National Football League. You see him on SportsGrid all across the board and on C2C 3 times during the week. Double shots on Monday and double shot on Friday, plus Bust a Cap in Your Ass on Fridays where he does his spread picks. I got to just start with this before we get into everything else. I was just saying to you, you're paying this guy $35 million a year to do the games. He's the number one announcer. Immediately takes a guy's job that was great at it, allegedly. People thought that Greg Olson was great at it. They just bumped him right out of there for Tom Brady, which everyone, I understand, 7 rings. You get whatever you want when you're Tom Brady. But he was really pedestrian at doing it. And I'm telling you, he wasn't worth $3.5 million doing that game.
Yeah, and I expect Brady to improve at it. He needs to relax a little bit. I thought he was a little bit uptight. But you were talking about Greg Olson, who's just phenomenal. See, the thing is, he's relatable. He's got great energy. He explains it well. Olson has done it in a way as a broadcaster, as a analyst, that we all can understand. And that is the key to broadcasting, no matter what sport you're doing, being relatable. And Greg was really good in the beginning. I think you and I were talking about that off the air. You kind of see it sometimes when guys have it. And in Brady's case, yes, you're expecting greatness because of what they're paying him. It's going to take some time.
I just can't. You can't explain that to me, that he's worth $35 million. I guess it's just because of his name and his rings. Because, I mean, that was really lame is what it was. It was lame. All right. Takeaways and intel from the opening Sunday of Pain Day. Where do you want to start here?
Yeah, it's interesting. Oh, by the way, this just came down, and we should mention this. The Rams will host the Cardinals in their home opener.
Right.
They lost last night at Detroit. They are a mash unit on their offensive line. 3 of their starters are out. Their left tackle, Larry Jackson's got to serve this second game. It was 2-game suspension. Puka Nakua's going to miss a minimum of 4 weeks with this PCL sprain. Right. He aggravated the injury and I was there that day when they had to join practice with the Chargers and El Segundo in early August. So Nakua got hurt early in the game. He was headed for a big game. He had 4 catches in the first half, and that's why you saw Cooper Kupp get a ton of passes his way. So that's a problem. They're in trouble, man. They are in trouble. They just don't have the depth. Who could withstand losing 3 players? They're going to be down at least 2. Now, the third guy they'll see is day-to-day. But that's a problem. And that was a tough loss. In fact, that game would have went over the total, I'm telling you, because we'll talk about the overs in a second. That game had an overpace, but the problem is the Rams couldn't protect Matthew Stafford. I give them all the credit in the world. They really hung in that game. You and I talked about this game Friday. I think we both liked the Lions. Lions made it more interesting than it really should have been against those Rams.
They blew it. They had the game won. They came back and took the lead, and then they blew it. I thought their overtime defense was anemic.
Yeah, and I got to give the Lions credit getting Jameson Williams the ball. That was one of the big stories of the game, because if you remember, Jameson Williams last year did next to nothing, right? And this, talking to Lions, this will be his breakout season, and he did that. And the one issue you have with the Rams is, yes, their defense kept them in the game, but they've got issues at corner, and that's where teams are going to go after them. If you could protect, there were some protection issues in that first half with Goff, but they got it together. And he made some big plays when they needed to. Montgomery cashed it in. But I give the Lions credit. And now you look at that with the Packers' problem now with Jordan Love going to miss time. Right now, you got to say the Lions are a shoo-in to win that division. The Packers they're going to have problems winning without Jordan Love. Malik Willis is not ready.
Do you think, because we talked about this earlier, I want to get your assessment of it. We've already discussed it. Do you think that injury in Brazil is going to ruin their season?
It's going to set them back, okay? First of all, with the NFC North, right, where it's really tight. One of the reasons why I thought the Packers could certainly win that division or win more games than 9.5, which I still think that they will, is because of Jordan Love and the way that he played in the second half of last season. What's interesting is against the Eagles, he did not play well. Okay, let's leave the injury to the side a little bit.
Right.
Throwing off his back foot, inaccurate. Passes were not really on target. He made a couple big plays, but overall he didn't play well. Now, and you just talked about, can this injury down sort of derail their season? Well, it's not going to derail it, but it's going to set them back. Malik Willis is a guy who's super raw. Okay, the Titans were trying to move him. They found one team that would trade for him, that was the Packers. Now, I know it's the same West Coast offense that they're running with Tennessee, but we saw this 2 years ago. He wasn't ready. If you're going to develop Malik Willis, Pharrell, you need a full offseason to do that. It's going to be very, very tough for them to be able to win without him. And it's not like their defense played great against Philly either. If you want to look at why some of the totals were going over, look at how many coordinator changes we've had, Scott. A lot of defensive changes. And with Green Bay and Jeff Hafley, their defense at times collapsed against Philly.
No doubt about it, Adam. All right, I want to go through the litany of quarterbacks that looked terrible yesterday. And I want to go on your list back to front. I want to start with Caleb Williams because everyone had him rookie of the year, offensive player of the year. Bears are going to the Super Bowl. Eberflus coach of the year. He was terrible.
Yeah, he struggled. And the thing that concerns me is trying to throw off platform, not taking the passes that are there. This is a good scheme that they're playing in with Shane Waldron, who developed Geno Smith with the Seahawks. They're running a West Coast offense. It's a timing-based offense. You and I talked about this about Caleb Williams. If he's going to be a success, he's got to play within structure as much as possible. I get it. If the pocket breaks down, throw off platform. That's fine. But within structure, when the play is there to be made, you need to make it, and he didn't do that. They won in spite of him. Their defense took the game over in the second half. In that same game, Will Levis struggled. The Titans quarterback, turnovers, indecisiveness. The Titans blew that game. Let's call it like it is. Yes, the Bears defense took over in the second half. The Titans shouldn't have choked that game. They had it. It was an ugly game in the first half. The Bears should not have won that game. Will Levis struggled. He's got to play better.
He blew it. They blew it. Bryce Young is still terrible.
Oh boy, he really struggled in this game against the Saints. The game was never close. It put their defense in a tough way. See, the thing is, Scott, Dan Morgan, their new general manager, has done a good job of putting talent around him, but you wouldn't know it watching that game. Young just doesn't stand tall in the pocket. He's got to play better. They can't run the ball to save their life. Yes, their defense gave up some big plays. In fact, Derek Carr, once they got up big in the first half, they pulled the plug on the passing game. But that was a pathetic performance from Bryce Young. I would agree with you. And then the other one with Anthony Richardson, yes, he made it one of the all-time great throws in the last 10 years. His touchdown to Alec Pierce for over 60 yards.
Right.
But other than that, very inaccurate. He's another guy. It's like, we get it. He's got a big arm. He can move. Big, great size. But he misses the routine throws he's got to make. Just not good enough. And I got to get CJ Stroud. For those people who said he might have a sophomore slump, I don't know what you're watching.
Well, yeah, he's fantastic. There's no point in discussing it. What about Bo Nix and Jaden Daniels?
Yeah, Daniels is great with his feet, and I told you months ago that with Cliff Kingsbury, the offensive coordinator with the Commanders, the quarterbacks are going to run, particularly in the red zone. That's the way he coaches. Daniels is great with his feet. To me, I was not really impressed with his throwing. It was just okay. They don't have a great receiver core. That's something that Adam Peters, the general manager of Washington, is going to have to address in the drafted free agency. Remember, they were into the IU sweepstakes early on. But the thing is, though, getting over to Bo Nix, boy, he misses throws he's got to make. They're good enough at wide receiver. He's got to be better. They were in that game, Scott. In fact, they had the backdoor cover at the end there, which they shouldn't have had.
Right.
But the bottom line is Bo Nix has got to play better. Yeah, there was more bad than good with the young quarterbacks. Now, it's week one, okay? Let's relax a little bit. These guys have to play better. The coaches have to help them out a little bit. But not a lot of encouraging sign from this young classic quarterback.